David Walliams was once among the most beloved figures on Britain's Got Talent. For a decade, he not only brought laughter but also became the heart and soul of the show. His charm, humor, and intriguing contrast with Simon Cowell made him an irreplaceable judge. Anyhow, in 2022, David's career on the show came to an abrupt end in a shocking scandal. A leaked recording revealed his inappropriate remarks about contestants. Under public pressure, ITV and the BGT organizers had to take a firm stance, leading to David's departure, a decision that left many fans disappointed. But what really happened? His rise to fame, his golden years, the sudden downfall, and what lies ahead for David Walliams. Let's dive into the details in this video. Born in 1971 in London as David Edward Walliams, he grew up in a middle-class family with a father who was an engineer and a mother who worked as a laboratory technician. From a young age, David displayed a natural sense of humor and a passion for the stage, but turning his talent into a career was far from easy. While studying at the University of Bristol, David decided to pursue acting seriously. It was there that he joined the Footlights, Cambridge University's prestigious comedy troupe, which had produced legends such as John Cleese and Stephen Fry. During this time, he honed his scriptwriting, performing, and acting skills, laying a solid foundation for his future career. At the Footlights, David met Matt Lucas, a like-minded companion who shared his passion for comedy. They quickly formed a partnership, creating satirical sketches that carried their unique imprint. Though they started with small performances, these sketches helped David realize the power of comedy in connecting with audiences. The duo expanded their career through radio comedy shows, experimenting with diverse characters and performance styles. After years of persistence, a major breakthrough came in 2003 when David and Matt Lucas launched Little Britain. This comedy series sized up contemporary British society through a cast of eccentric characters. David didn't just play one role. He transformed into multiple characters, from wealthy women to working-class men, each with their own distinct traits. Little Britain quickly became a sensation not only in the UK but also in many other countries. The show's success stemmed from its sharp social satire, both humorous and thought-provoking, but it also sparked controversy, as some characters were criticized for being offensive or discriminatory. In spite of the debates, Little Britain undeniably elevated David's status, making him one of the most sought-after comedians in Britain. Not wanting to be confined to a single role, David ventured into other creative fields. In 2008, he stepped into the world of literature with his first children's book The Boy in the Dress, a story about a boy who loves wearing dresses and his journey toward acceptance. The book received positive reviews, opening up a promising new career path for David. In the following years, he continued to publish a series of best-selling books, including Gangsta Granny, Mr. Stink, and Billionaire Boy. These works not only achieved tremendous commercial success but were also adapted into films and stage plays, solidifying his reputation in children's literature. With his witty, meaningful storytelling, he built a loyal readership and was even compared to Roald Dahl, one of the greatest authors in the genre. Though his success in writing grew, David never strayed far from the spotlight. He remained active in comedy shows and explored various roles, from film acting to judging television competitions. His versatility allowed him to maintain his appeal over the years, even as the entertainment industry evolved rapidly. Anyhow, his journey was far from smooth. In the early days of his career, David faced countless challenges, from being overlooked to performing in near-empty venues. He experienced the full spectrum of setbacks. As a budding comedian, he often performed in small bars where audiences barely paid attention to his acts. There were times when he questioned whether he could survive in the fiercely competitive entertainment industry. But through relentless perseverance, David gradually made a name for himself. In 2012, he joined Britain's Got Talent and immediately became a breath of fresh air for the show. While other judges, especially Simon Cowell, maintained a serious demeanor, David took a completely different approach. He wasn't afraid to be playful on live television, from witty jokes to outrageous antics. This contrast made them one of the most entertaining judge duos in the show's history, creating a strong presence on the judges' panel. David didn't just evaluate contestants based on skill, he also judged based on emotion, always offering encouragement even to those who weren't particularly outstanding. This sometimes frustrated Simon, but at the same time, it added humor and balance to the show. The dynamic between David and Simon Cowell quickly became a standout feature. While Simon maintained a cold and serious demeanor, David constantly found ways to tease him. One of the most unforgettable moments was when David unexpectedly kissed Simon on live television, making the entire studio erupt in laughter. He didn't stop there. He frequently joked about Simon's rigid personality, even calling him the love of my life in front of millions of viewers. Their chemistry brought more life to the show without overshadowing the contestants' talent. Though constantly trolling Simon, David knew how to maintain balance, ensuring that each performance remained engaging even when the act itself wasn't particularly impressive. Throughout more than a decade on the judging panel, David Walliams created countless memorable moments. One of the most touching instances was when Malachi P., a young contestant, burst into tears from nerves on stage. Without hesitation, David stepped down, gently reassured him, and encouraged him to continue. This heartfelt gesture cemented him as one of the most beloved judges in the show's history. Beyond these emotional moments, David became known for his rule-breaking antics, often stirring heated debates among the other judges. On one occasion, he decided to give a second chance to a contestant who had already been eliminated, despite Simon and the other judges unanimously pressing the red buzzer. This decision sparked on-stage arguments but also made the audience feel that Britain's Got Talent wasn't just a competition, it was a place where dreams could come true. In another instance, David drove Simon crazy by pretending to enjoy a completely talentless contestant. As soon as Simon hit the buzzer to eliminate them, David immediately pressed the golden buzzer, a privilege meant only for truly outstanding acts. Although everyone knew it was just a joke, Simon's exasperated reaction had the audience roaring with laughter. Offstage, the backstage area of Britain's Got Talent was also filled with entertaining moments between David and Simon. On several occasions, David secretly altered Simon's script, causing him to read out completely unexpected lines. Though visibly annoyed, even Simon had to admit that David brought a lively energy to the show. Before David joined Britain's Got Talent, the show already had strong appeal, but it lacked a certain warmth that connected with viewers. David filled that gap. He wasn't just a judge, he created a new rhythm for the show, easing tense moments and boosting the confidence of nervous contestants. His humor even influenced the other judges. Amanda Holden and Alicia Dixon often found themselves caught up in his jokes. In one instance, David made Alicia burst into laughter by convincing her to dance with a contestant whom everyone assumed would be eliminated immediately. David's judging style didn't just make the show more entertaining, it attracted a new audience segment. Many tuned in not just for the talent but also to enjoy his comedic presence. His playful exchanges with Simon became a highlight every season, often compiled into viral videos on social media. Anyhow, despite his popularity, David wasn't always met with universal approval. At times, his humor was seen as excessive, undermining the seriousness of the competition. In certain situations, audiences felt that his jokes were misplaced. But in spite of mixed opinions, most fans still regarded him as the greatest judge the show had ever had. David Walliams transformed Britain's Got Talent into a stage not only for extraordinary talent but also for unforgettable moments. He didn't just give contestants a chance to shine, he brought joy, making the show more captivating than ever. Because of his enormous influence, when a scandal surfaced, both the show and its audience were left in shock. Someone who had brought so much laughter and emotion suddenly became the center of the biggest controversy in Britain's Got Talent history, and this marked the most severe downfall of his career. The scandal that brought David down. In November 2022, a shocking scandal led to the downfall of David Walliams' position on Britain's Got Talent. A leaked backstage recording revealed inappropriate remarks he had made about some contestants. This wasn't a story that would fade away in a few days. The controversy quickly exploded, dominating media headlines and social media discussions, officially bringing an end to David's decade-long journey with the show. The recording, first exposed by The Guardian, revealed David's controversial comments during a January 2020 taping. The leaked conversation showed him making derogatory remarks about an elderly male contestant, using offensive language that few could have imagined coming from someone known for his humorous and friendly public image. It didn't stop there. The recording also exposed inappropriate comments David had made about a female contestant. These words immediately sparked a wave of public outrage as they directly contradicted the positive image he had carefully built over his years as a judge. The media quickly picked up the story. Major outlets like Daily Mail, The Sun, and The Independent covered it extensively, while social media erupted with intense debates. Many fans expressed deep disappointment, feeling betrayed upon discovering that their idol had made such remarks, but others defended David, arguing that these were private jokes that shouldn't warrant such severe consequences. Under mounting public pressure, ITV, the network behind Britain's Got Talent, issued an official statement. They affirmed that the show did not tolerate any behavior that could harm or offend contestants. While they did not name David directly, it was clear that the statement was aimed at him. As the backlash grew, David had no choice but to respond. In a statement to Variety, he expressed deep regret for his words, acknowledging that they were inappropriate and that he had never intended to hurt anyone. Anyhow, he also emphasized that this was a private conversation that was never meant to be made public. Regardless of whether his apology was sincere, it could not salvage his image. Some accepted it and called for forgiveness, but many argued that a public figure like David needed to take greater responsibility for his words. Just weeks after the scandal broke, David announced his departure from Britain's Got Talent. But was this really his own decision? Although ITV never issued an official statement about his dismissal, media insiders widely reported that he had been forced out. Sources within the industry revealed that ITV had held multiple internal meetings to discuss the situation, ultimately concluding that David could no longer remain on the show. The other judges, including Simon, Amanda Holden, and Alicia Dixon, made no public comments about the incident. However, according to some sources, they were deeply shocked when they learned the contents of the recording. Simon Cowell, who had a close relationship with David, was said to have had a private conversation with him before the final decision was made. David's replacement on the judging panel was Bruno Tonioli, a former Strictly Come Dancing judge. This decision immediately sparked mixed reactions from fans. While Bruno was an experienced judge, many felt he could not bring the same charm and humor that David had. Some lamented that the show had lost a part of its soul. Even as the scandal unfolded, public opinion remained divided on David. Some fans believed it was merely a momentary lapse and that he deserved a second chance. On social media, many came to his defense, arguing that private backstage conversations shouldn't define his entire character. They pointed out that David had spent over a decade on the show creating hundreds of memorable moments and that one controversy shouldn't erase everything he had contributed. However, others saw his departure as inevitable in an era where offensive remarks can have lasting consequences. They argued that fame and talent should not be exceptions. No matter how humorous or charming David was, they believed that a judge on a major reality competition like Britain's Got Talent had to be held accountable for their words and actions. These debates continued for months after he left the show. Meanwhile, David chose to remain silent. He avoided the media, refrained from responding to rumors, and made no further statements about the incident. After his departure from Britain's Got Talent, David virtually disappeared from television screens. There were no more playful antics on TV, no more lively exchanges with Simon Cowell. He retreated into a quieter, more private life. But that didn't mean he had completely stopped. Life after the spotlight. Following the 2022 scandal, major television networks seemed hesitant to collaborate with David. Invitations to reality shows and talk shows became increasingly rare. He also stopped making regular appearances at media events or on popular television programs. There was no denying that the scandal had dealt a severe blow to David's reputation in the entertainment industry. A single controversy could wipe out decades of success in an instant. Anyhow, instead of waiting for a return to television, David focused on what he could control, writing books and producing animated films. Through the controversy, he remained one of the most successful children's authors in the UK. Even after the scandal, books like Gangster Granny, Mr. Stink, and The Boy in the Dress continued to be bestsellers. With television no longer consuming his time, David dedicated himself to personal projects. He continued writing, expanded his career in publishing, and began bringing his stories to the screen. In 2023, his book Robodog was adapted into an animated film featuring voice performances from well-known actors. This was seen as a strategic move. Rather than attempting to reclaim his former position on television, David invested in an industry where he had complete creative control. After years of dedication, David Walliams remained one of the UK's most successful children's authors, with over 50 million books sold worldwide. His works had been translated into dozens of languages, captivating generations of readers. Beyond his career, David's personal life continued to intrigue the public. Since his divorce from supermodel Lara Stone in 2015, he had neither remarried nor publicly confirmed any new relationships. David and Lara had been one of the entertainment industry's most talked about couples. They met in 2009, quickly developed a romance, and married just a year later. Their wedding was a widely discussed event, as both were highly influential figures, Lara, a top supermodel, and David, a renowned comedian and television star. Their marriage seemed idyllic, but it unexpectedly ended in 2015. While the exact reason was never disclosed, sources suggested that David longed for a stable family life, whereas Lara preferred a more independent and vibrant lifestyle. Over time, their differing perspectives created distance, leading to their eventual separation. After the divorce, David focused entirely on his career and his son Alfred. Although he rarely shared personal details, the few moments he posted on social media revolved around Alfred and their everyday activities. Fans often saw pictures of David taking his son out, participating in outdoor adventures, or enjoying vacations together. No matter how busy his work schedule was, he always made time for Alfred. Becoming a single father had made David more mature, helping him find joy in life beyond personal and professional setbacks. In 2023, rumors surfaced that David had joined Raya, a dating app for celebrities. Reports claimed that his profile featured photos of him with his two beloved dogs, Bert and Ernie, but David never confirmed or denied these claims. Though he was no longer the face of reality television, David occasionally made public appearances. He remained active in charity events, particularly those supporting children. That same year, he attended the premiere of Robodog, expressing his excitement about seeing his work adapted for the screen. When asked about Britain's Got Talent, he avoided discussing the past, choosing instead to focus on his new projects. For those hoping for a grand television comeback, disappointment might be inevitable. David seemed content with his current life, free from reality TV and the pressures of the spotlight. The entertainment industry had seen many fallen stars successfully return after scandals, but such comebacks required time and the right strategy. So far, David had shown no signs of planning a return. He had declined talk show invitations, refrained from interviews about the scandal, and had no known projects related to reality television. This led many to believe that he had consciously chosen to close that chapter of his career. But with someone like David, anything could change. Public perception could shift if he reappeared in a compelling project. If a show matched his signature humor and charisma without reigniting past controversies, he might still have a chance to return. For now, though, he appeared in no rush. He had built a solid career that didn't depend on television, something few entertainers could achieve after a major scandal. His books continued to sell, and film adaptations of his works were still in production. Though he no longer graced television screens with his signature comedic antics, David retained a loyal audience that followed his every move. And most importantly, whether he returns to television or not, David Walliams remains a distinctive name in British entertainment, a talented comedian, a successful author, and someone who has experienced both triumphs and setbacks, yet continues to find new ways to create. Though being caught in controversy, he has never lost his sense of humor or his ability to connect with audiences. With millions of books sold and a lasting impact on the entertainment industry, David's career is far from over. Would you like to see David return to television? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an update.